Edited. All right, all right, all right. We get ready to come on here and talk about crime. We want to talk about a crime scene today that happened early this morning about our young folks, five teens, was in an accident early this morning, and we want to talk about it. And I hear a lot of comments. I read a lot of comments of people are talking about what what should be done. Don't forget to leave your boy some stars. All right, that'll be gladly appreciated. All right, we want to talk about. Come on in, people. We want to talk about these young people had that accident. I think it was four or five of them, and we want to talk about it real quick. I know it's just about lunchtime. I'll get a few people in, make a difference, and come on in, people. Okay, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. All right, come on in, people. This is live, uncut, unedited. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Greetings, Keena Nicole. What's up, Lavelle? My man. What's my main man? All right. D. What's up, D? What's going on, real quick? At 14, I think it was 4 or 5. Let me make sure. Let me get it right. We don't want to lie on nobody. We definitely don't want to lie on nobody. Want to make sure we get it right. Come on in. I want to. Those of you that's not following me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on YouTube. Just in case I'm not on Facebook, you'll always have my live. So we're going to take a couple of call-ins today and talk about our young people, young teenagers that got caught, got hurt and sent to the hospital. And let me find that on my thing and post it, and we want to talk about it. All right. All right. Okay, here it is right here. Five teenagers from the ages of 14 to 13. We had three 14-year-olds and two 13-year-olds. They was all taken to Commerce Hospital, University of Chicago area. So it's good morning, Rosemary Hoover. What's going on? Say, can you turn your volume up a little bit? Okay, no problem. How's that? Mic check. 1 2 1 2. How is that? 1 2 1 2. Is that better? All right, turn it up a little bit. Okay. It was five. Yes. Um, People is amazing, and they were out in the early morning hours, and I know they weren't going to school. School is out right now. So, what are your thoughts, people? I need some people to call in. Call in. This is live, uncut, unedited. Call in, call in, call in. All right, call in, people. You can call in. Call in number 872 299 0808 or 872 297 6389. All right, again, call in number 872 299 0808 or 872 297 6389. Thank you. All right, people, come on in, call. We want to talk real quick. I hope I can be with you at least about a half an hour. We want to talk about this. You going live? Yes, I am going later on. Yes, I'm definitely going live later on. I just want to talk about this. I had a parent request that they want to talk about this, so I promised her that I'd do it early. She's expecting it nighttime, but that's okay. We could do it not live right now, early, and we'll do it. I do it later on, and I want to talk to some of the parents, and you know, I hear a lot of people saying, this is what I hear. A lot of people saying that where's the mother, where's the father? It's going to take both. I'm sorry. It's going to take both. We just can't put it on one particular parent. It has to go on both. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's all right. Oh, okay. All right, call a new caller. And you turn your phone down, turn your volume down. I hear echo. I see you, new caller.
Hey, Martin.
Hey, how
I'm
you?
here. This me, Rita.
Oh, hey, Rita. Come on, let's talk about this. I mean, I see you. I see you in the comments, and you guys going back and forth. What is it that you want to say? Tell me, what is it you want to?
Well, Martin, this topic touches me close to home.
Okay.
So every time I see it, a lot of times I just read and sometimes I don't say much, but I'm starting to feel the need to speak out on it because I think we're, first of all, let's be clear about this. First of all, we come on these posts and we have all these ideas of what's going to change the narrative. What's going to change the narrative, first of all, is Black men and women being able to come together as one. Period.
Mm-hmm.
First, how can we deal with our children and we can't even deal with ourselves?
Uh-oh.
It's a reality. It's like you say, tell the truth and shame the devil.
Tell the truth.
How can
and shame the devil. Go ahead.
How can we keep pointing the fingers at these children when us as adults, we can't even come together and come up with a community plan for our children? We can't even, it's like on your post today. Now, I didn't get disrespectful with anyone, but I've been blocked. Why are you blocking me? Because of what I feel. Now, I'm only speaking from my experience of what I've dealt with. Now, I read these posts. We should find the parents. We have the first thing Black people do is want to find the parent or lock the parent up. I've been saying this for years, Martin. What do we do to prevent? Do we have anything to prevent our children from going out here doing the things that they do? We really don't. These kids don't have no outlets. The mother and fathers can't get along. And let's keep it 100. Most of us are afraid of our children.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, the ones that's really not afraid, then we got to deal with the law. You can't. I'm an example of this. I chastised my child. Let me back up. My son was going to Hyde Park. I went to Hyde Park for teacher-parent meeting. They told me everything negative you could tell me about my child when I went to this parent-teacher conference. Okay. I want to say maybe a week later, my son did something at the house. He was chastised by a family member. My son went back to the school and told the school that the family member jumped him. Now, what did the school do? They automatically called DCF on me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't call me knowing that he was a problem child. They didn't call me first to see what the real issue was. Was he telling the truth? Or what was really going on? They just called DCFS on me. So when I went to the school, I told them, I said, listen, you guys have called me up here and said to me that my child is a problem at your school. But when I took him home to chastise him, you called DCFS on me. So now, this is what I want y'all to do. Don't call me. When he's a problem, call DCFS. See, the system is part of the problem, too.
Mm-hmm.
All of us parents are not bad parents.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 sons. Out of 3 of my sons, one of my sons went astray. That don't make me a bad parent because I got two grown children that's never been arrested, never been in trouble, graduated from college, doing what good, prosperous young men do.
Mm-hmm.
But I have one child that was a problem kid. Now, there's a lot of things that go with that. He was born with a medical condition. His father not being in his life. There's a lot of other things that go with that. Now, as a mother, I can never replace his father.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we don't have Black men that's stepping in or stepping up. We don't have the village anymore. We don't have real uncles anymore. We don't have real cousins and real grandmothers. We don't have that anymore in the community. Real neighbors. Listen, it's more to it than just what we're seeing. We gotta dig deep within and figure out what can we do, first of all, to prevent some of this. And that would curb some of it. And we need to come together, Martin. As adults, we need to put our heads together and come up with resources. These kids need outlets. They need job training. They need education. They need mental health. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we can sit on Facebook and talk about the parents and say, we don't know whether these parents are good or bad. It's just like I could speak on one of the children that shot the police officer. One of the boys' father is a staple of the community. He has a business. He's tried to train his child up right. It did not stop his child from going astray. So we got to start digging a little deeper than what everybody thinks. And then another thing, a lot of people get on here and say, their kids, my kids is this. Okay, that's fine. But what happened to the village mentality? Let's put if we can come together and come up with some resources for these kids, it would get better. But how can we do that, Martin, if as adults, we can't even come together ourselves?
Right.
That's the first thought. You know, I've dealt with it in court. I asked the court system to not let my son out. What did they do? Do you think they listened to me? They didn't listen to me because the system itself, they really don't care about your kid. They hoping they put your kid back out here on these streets and they get killed. They don't care about these kids. So I'm living it. I sent my son away. I've tried to do a lot of different things. I've cried out. I put him in programs to try to help. You know, it's a little deeper. I just think we need to dig a little deeper than what's on the surface. We definitely have to deal with mental health.
Right. And you know what? Let me say something too. I want to say something. This is what I hear all the time. This is the excuses I hear. The single parent household, mental, and I'm saying they're not legit. Mental illness, which is true. We don't have a village. We don't have the resources. We don't have enough things going on in our community. But the key thing that you said today, Jarita, we have to get together, the adults, and put down a plan, a strategic plan to how we're going to figure this out. Because the system is not going to fix it for us. It's not going to fix it. And listen, Jarita, everything you said, I agree with you 100%. And I know you personally, and I know you're not a bad parent. I know you personally. And I know you got a good kid. I know your son, the one that's giving you trouble. You know, so I know him. So I know what you're saying. And so all you people out here that's saying, when these teenagers do something, lock their mother up. Okay, now what about the other children? The other children got to suffer because one out of the 4 out of the 5 is bad? I don't think so.
And let me say this, Martin.
Yes.
Let me take it a further notch for me.
Yes.
When my son was in these streets, right?
Right.
I had to this how bad it got. I have a 11-year-old. At the time, she probably was 8 in the house with me. I had to literally choose. Literally, and this is the hardest thing for a parent, to choose between my son's life and my daughter's life. You understand? My son was making decisions that he know I didn't agree with. There came a point where one of my sons, he used to be a friend, then they became enemies, shot into my house. In the broad daylight, literally stood in front of my house and shot twice into my house. At that moment, I had to make a defined decision for my daughter. You understand? So now, I'm not going to allow any harm to come to my daughter. That is my responsibility to keep her safe. So like I told my son, you have to go. Because at the end of the day, I will not see my daughter in a grave because of what you're doing in these streets. I'll never forget, I live right here at Burger King on the corner. My son, can I walk in the bed no, you may not. She may not go anywhere with you. Do you understand? Those are hard decisions and sacrifices I have to make as a parent to save another child in my house. So it's way deeper than what people think. We got to stop scratching the surface. That's all we doing. We just scratching the surface. We come on Facebook. We come on there emotionally saying what we think the parents. And no, how about we really dig deep and figure out what are the real solutions. Each individual child may have a different scenario. Every situation. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any bad parents and there aren't parents, but I'm going to keep it 100. It's probably a lot more than people think, parents that are there and that are struggling with their children. But we don't have the resources. We don't have the community, the village. There's a lot of things missing.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Jarita, I agree with you. Let me say this. Let me just say this. And as a parent, as a grandfather, and I also have a grown children and I have a teenager. So let me say this. Our teenagers have a mind of their own when they get away from us, when they're at school, outside playing with their friends. It's a lot of things that they do that parents don't approve of. Not just the mothers, I'm talking to the fathers as well. Now, if two consenting adults get together, have sex, and have a baby, and they find out that they don't want to be with each other, or it was a mistake or whatever, and they decide to have a baby, both parties have to work together. But Jarita said something this morning. She said, we can't get along. So why we expect the children to get along, be perfect? The adults can't get along. The two grown adults that had the baby can't get along. You telling the mama, you telling the children your mama ain't no good, and the mama telling the children your dad ain't no good. It's going back and forth, back and forth.
And
go ahead,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of old school.
Right.
I think when especially these boys, when they get to a certain age, Martin, they need to be with their fathers. Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. Period. Men need to step up. Mothers can only do so much with their sons. We can raise them. We can give them initially what they need. But at the end of the day, men need to step up and be in their son's life because they can relate to one another. Mm-hmm. When your son when my son got a certain age, I had to get male family members to step in because my son got to a point where he could pick me up and move me out the way, Martin. Mm. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So understand this. Men have to take responsibility for their sons. Once they get, I believe in this. I believe when a young boy gets, at least by the time they get 12, 13, they need to be with their father. I don't care, really, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care if their fathers are good or bad almost. They need to have that experience. Like my son, he had to literally, I told the courts not to let him out, right? Mm-hmm. His father didn't want him in there. Now, his father really ain't been in his life like he should, because if he had been, we wouldn't be here where we're at. So now he wants to step in after my son is locked up and in jail. Okay, that's fine. But I told the courts, don't release him. He needs to sit there and deal with his consequences, right? The judge decided to send him with his dad. Now, I know his dad and I know my son. They haven't spent enough time together to know one another. So it happened. But what happened? My son ended up jumping on his daddy. He ended up running on while he was on the band. It did not work. You understand? Mm. Now, I'm not mad that he didn't have that experience because they both needed to see one another and who one another is. But at the end of the day, what happened? My son went on the run. I still fought for him as a mother. I got Chicago to send him to his older brothers in California.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Martin,
I remember.
He wasn't there 2 months, and he'd been locked up underneath Riverside County's jail for the last year with $1 million bond. So understand, it's deeper than what people think. And I'm a mother that has tried almost everything. But my son has gotten to an age where he is making decisions for himself. You understand? Okay. And so as a mother, at some point, you feel responsible. But once you've known, you tried to do what you can for your child, I can no longer hold that because I still have another child here to raise.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
it's hard. People think it's easy. And it frustrates me when people say this and not really knowing all the facts, especially not knowing the facts
Mm-hmm.
when they say certain things, because there's some of us parents out here that are good, but we are struggling with resources, mental health, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
You
Hold it.
know, it's just not there for us.
Yeah, hold it right there, sis. I got another caller. Hey, 900. Go ahead, 900.
Hey, Mar, you early today, huh?
Well, you know what? Because she asked me, but I'm going later, live later. She asked me, and it was a need, and this happened. The what we're talking about, it was five teens that was driving in a stolen car in the wee hours of the morning, and they wasn't on their way to school either. And I think ages of 13, well, 14 and 13 and 14, something like that. So they crashed and all of them went to the hospital and things like that. And so I put the post up this morning, and a lot of people say, well, where the Melders at and where this at and where this at, you know. And I'm going to be honest with you, like the parent just said, a lot of us that's on the outside looking in that don't have children, we don't understand a lot of things. Okay? That's all I want to say. But go ahead, make your comment. I know you want to make a comment. Whatever you say, go ahead. I'm here listening. Go ahead.
Um, I agree with this lady that when boys get to be a certain age, they do need to be with their father. I would say around 11, 12, 13, like she said, they really need to be with their father because a mother, like she said, a mother can only do so much. You know, that boy is becoming a man and he needs to be around other men, you know, and sometimes these boys, they do come from good, like they do have good mothers, but again, sometimes they can just lose their way if they don't have that male figure. Not always, because my brother, he never knew his father and never even seen a picture of him, and he turned out great. You know, never did drugs or went to jail, or he don't even sag his pants. You know, he always got made fun of as a kid because he would wear a belt with his pants and all the other boys sagging. So, you know, in some cases they can turn out good, but I can say though, my mother, she stayed at home. So it wasn't an opportunity for us to get in trouble.
Mm.
She was always at home. And when we was outside, she was looking out the window at us in front of the house. So there was very little opportunity to do anything, and you know, because she wasn't having it. So I will say that makes a difference for sure.
Mm.
Caller, can I ask? I'm not. I'm just asking. Are you? I'm 47. So are you like in that age group yourself, or you and your brother?
No, I'm not even 30 yet.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. So I was saying that to say because I know, like when I was coming up, it was totally different. Like my uncles didn't play, girl or male, they didn't play with you. You know, it's totally different today. I don't know these kids. I don't know if it's the food. I don't know what it is, but they are really just a different breed. Another thing we have to understand is social media. That is another big thing with these kids. The sexuality. These kids have to deal with so much that I didn't even think about until I was an adult. You didn't even talk about sex. You these kids deal with way more. They are advanced when it comes to certain things versus when I was coming up. And it's hard to you know, it's crazy because even with my daughter, she's becoming into being a teenager, and I almost have to watch her being around sometimes just family members. Not that I don't want her with them, but it's certain things that certain parents allow their children to do that I don't want my 11-year-old to do. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But I definitely agree with what you're saying because I have three sons, and I have been a single mother, but out of the three, one of them went astray. I will say this: I don't think my son may have not went astray if my older two sons were still in the home, but they went off to college, which left him here alone. And then he was the baby boy for a while. And then I had my daughter. I think that had an effect on him on a level. So it's a lot of things that go into certain things. And that's why I tell people it's easy to say, let's lock the parent up, let's find a parent. But that's not solving a problem. Even if you find a parent, is that going to change the behavior of the child? No.
Yeah,
if you lock up the parent,
parents are not responsible for their adult children's actions. Now, when they're teenagers, that's different. But when they 18, parents are not responsible for that.
Well, these kids are underage.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
And my son was underage when he caught his carjacking.
Mm-hmm.
He was a juvenile. So now, I literally cried in court when I heard the charges.
Right. Okay.
Because he does not come from that background.
Okay, hold it. Let me move on to the next call. I got a few more callers. We're not going to be on here long. We're probably going to be on another 10 to 15 minutes. I got another 3 more calls. Lord, have mercy. You still guys hang around. Don't hang up. I think this is Reb the Barber, 6112. Reb the Barber. I believe that's him. Go ahead, Reb the Barber. Go ahead. Reb the Barber.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Reb. Talk a little louder. So talk at the phone. All right.
Can y'all hear me good now?
Yeah, talk a little louder. Let me.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Go ahead. That's better.
Yeah. I was listening to the young lady who has
Reb, hold it. Reb, talk a little louder, man. Put some bass in that voice, man. Pick up. You're a preacher. You shouldn't have no problem talking in the phone. You're a preacher.
I was listening to the lady who has the son, and it's kind of hard to see her go through that experience sounding as if she's a great mother. But this is something that I wanted to say concerning these boys, but also the girls too. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like, the young ladies ain't out there doing stuff that we know we don't approve of. But the boys, she's right when it comes to the boys need to be with their fathers.
Go ahead, Reb.
The boys need to be with their fathers. I had an opportunity to have my son, his mother sent it to me. Now, the thing about it, before she sent it to me, I done went through a lot of mess with her. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the fact of being able to be inside of my son's life. You know what I'm saying? Now it gets to the point where it's out of her hands and the trouble she can't handle. Then I was able to get my son. But then he's 17 years old, and at the time 15, and it seems like it's too late. Now I got to put my hands on him. You know what I'm saying? And then she's steady inside the issue talking about, well, don't do this to my child at the same time. But I'm the father. Now you son come here with me. So it's a lot of elements of situations that we deal with. Sometimes it's just a kid, just a rebellious child. Just a rebellious child don't want to do right by no rules. Sometimes it is the fact that a son don't have his father in his life. We got to understand the kids inside themselves. The kids hurt because they ain't got their fathers in their life too. They got
absolutely.
Think about the mothers who don't lie to the kids all this time. Think about the trauma. We don't even see sometimes the trauma that our kids go through. If they lost a best friend, some kids lost their best friends in their face. A lot of trauma, and we don't sit down with our kids and talk to them. You know what I'm saying? We just sit up there and say, well, you can't, you better not, and I'm the parent, and you got to listen and do what I say and not what I do. And that's not right, because the kids today is different thinking. You right, a different breed. They handle with a lot, and we are not helping them. We're not helping them by sitting up there, and it's a lot of stuff from the root cause of the past that we don't have, that we have never put no medicine on, that brings the wounds of today, and we got to understand that. Sometimes you ain't gonna be able to save some of these kids. We gotta face the reality of life. Some of these kids gonna die.
Agreed.
Some of these kids gonna get locked up. Some of these kids gonna get locked up and they going to jail for the rest of their life. That gotta happen because you got kids that's innocent that's dying in the street. So we're dealing with a world now that we can't take away some things that, how you can go so far out there you can't come back from it. That's where we at in Chicago. That's where we at in America. That's where we at in our youth today. And we just gotta face it and save those that we can save. I feel.
Okay. Hey, Reb, hold it. Reb, hold it right there. I'm going to come back to you. Hold it right there, Reb. Let me go to this next caller. Let me get this next call. We ain't going to be on the 2 hours today because I just did the parent, she asked me to do a live real quick for 6557. Come on, caller. 6557.
Hey, Martin, it's Kingdom Nicole.
Hey, Kingdom Nicole. Come on with it. Come on with it, sister.
Hey there.
I ain't got to tell you what to do.
Listen,
You
I'm
know what to
agreeing
do.
with everybody that's been on the call so far.
Mm-hmm.
The mom that first started talking, baby, I feel you. You understand? I feel you. I cannot stand. And I mean, you can't tell nobody what to say, what to do, none of that. But it unnerves my soul, my spirit, when somebody can look at a situation and have no clue about it and say, oh, the mom needs to get locked up or the dad needs to get locked up. How can you say that? You don't know what that parent is dealing with. You got people that work. Okay, I work every day. Fortunate for me, I work at home. It wasn't always the case where I worked at home and I had to go outside. Guess what? If you don't got that support system, what you gonna do? You got people who want to work and not depend on the system. You understand? And then because that village don't exist no more, you gotta be careful with the village. Because you got pedophiles that live in the village. You understand? You got people in that village that don't like kids.
Preach.
So we in a different era. And I'll be damned, excuse my French, Martin, if I hear somebody say that a parent ain't doing their best. Yeah, we got some bum parents out here. But what I guarantee you is way more parents out here hustling and busting, trying to make it happen for their babies. Instead of pointing the finger, remember, when you point one at one person, you point three at your own self.
Let me say something real quick. Thank you, Kingdom Nicole. Let me say something real quick. I want to say to the parents, you have to do the best you can. And as I say, when you have a bunch of teenagers unsupervised, and you cannot be with your teenagers 24 hours a day. A lot of you work 8 hours a day. So you take an hour to get to work, hour to get back. So that's what, 10 hours gone right there. So a lot can happen in 10 hours at school, coaching, wherever it is. A lot can happen, people. A lot can happen. And like Kingdom Nicole just said, she's not saying that it's not no bomb parents out here, no bad. It is about bomb parents out here that don't know, but we don't know these parents' story. We don't know. Every case is different. It's different. You got some parents truly love their children and they make sacrifice. I hate to say it, but you got women out here that want their child to have the best. They go out there and sleep with men they don't even like so they can have money and bring in and pay the rent and do all. I'm not saying, I'm not justifying that's right, but they do what they have to do. I'm just saying it. So if you're doing it, I don't need to know it, but I just wanted to say that. So we have to be real careful. Now, thank God that your children is in line, okay? So, hey, it might not always been that way, and it might not always be that way. If, you know, I'm saying that because some parents get out here bragging, well, I know what my son and I know what they're doing too, but guess what? Because your son never got caught smoking drugs, you don't know he's smoking. A lot of children smoke weed and you don't know they smoke weed. A lot of children cut school. Okay, let me say this.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, Reed.
Okay, go ahead.
Go, Reed. You cut. I'm in my mood. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to piggyback off that.
Go ahead.
Let's be clear, too. There's no such thing as a perfect parent, and there's no such thing as a perfect kid. So I don't care how perfect you think you are as a parent. Trust me, it's something that your child is dealing with, whether they tell you or not. I have to, even with my two older sons, they great, Martin. But sometimes when I'm around them, I notice things that they do that I know they got from me, right? That might not be good. You know what I've learned to do? I have learned to stop my kids and say, hey, that's something you picked up from me, and that is not good. We need to change that. See, I take responsibility first. You understand? And then I tell them we need to change that. Because as parents, sometimes when you have a kid, you just don't really know. You learn as you go. But once you figure out those mistakes, it's your job to try to recorrect them.
Okay. Hold it right there. Hold it. I got another caller. Marcus, go ahead. Marcus just hung up. God dog. Marcus just hung up. Okay, $36.99. $36.99. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Martin.
How you doing?
Hey, Martin. I'm not a parent by choice.
Okay.
I'm all right.
Hey, how you
But I
doing?
want to say something based off being a child myself at one point in my life, and I see there is a great lack of, you know, I was a child,
Okay.
okay, and so my family is from the South, my grandmother, my aunts, and all this, and so I sit back and I observe how people allow their children to communicate with them and other adults.
Mm-hmm.
It's little things like that you know, I was not allowed to address an adult by their first name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was a title put on it, Mrs.
Right.
or Mister or Miss, Auntie, Uncle, whatever. That's number one. Number two, facial expressions. I could not talk back to another adult because she wasn't my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was an automatic pop to the lip. My mother always taught us that if you have a problem with an adult, you don't stand flat foot and go word for word with no adult. You come get me. You have aunts and uncles. You tell us what's going on and we'll handle it. If I ever catch you back talking another adult, I'm going to deal with you. And so you have to establish authority with a child just like you do with anything when you're in control. Okay. And so, I knew that what would happen with the asking simple stuff like why. When my mother said no, that's what she meant. Okay, I wasn't allowed to answer the adult not only in the family but outside of the family. When an adult asked us something, we couldn't say yeah, huh, what, no. Who are you talking to? It's a yes and a no. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. Okay? And I still do that to this day. I wouldn't dare address an elderly woman as by her first name. I see it all the time. If I didn't hear a woman and I know she's old enough to be my mother, my aunt, I'm sorry. Excuse me, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I didn't hear you. Ma'am. That's how we, and it carries you a long way. There's a difference between allowing your child to express themselves and be flat out disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start teaching a kid by the time they pulling up on furniture and pulling at knickknacks on tables and things, that no means no, and you can reach for it again, and I'm going to tap them little hands because they understand. They understand. And I didn't say beat, I said tap to establish boundaries.
Okay.
I don't see any boundaries being established with these kids. I hear a lot of people saying, well, I got to work. Oh, we all have to work.
Okay.
But there was a healthy fear that was installed in me. Understand? There was a healthy fear that was installed in me. I was so afraid of the consequences of smoking weed. Okay, I was afraid of things that what my mother, my grandmother, I was afraid of what they would do to me because they installed that healthy fear of if I catch you, this is what time it is. These kids are not afraid of their parents. I was afraid of my mother for all the right reasons. I was afraid of my mother, and guess what? I'm 50 years old. I don't cuss in front of my mother. I don't disrespect other people's mama. I don't backtalk my mother. I can express myself without disrespecting my mother. And right now today, if my mother, I could be on the phone. If my mother's asking me a question and I'm on the phone, you ain't going to hear me say, huh? What? I didn't hear you. It's ma'am.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. So you got to establish authority. In the military, they establish authority. By making you address them by what? Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's for a reason.
Okay.
It's for a reason.
Hold it right there.
To establish who is who.
We need to go back to them old-fashioned values because
exactly.
Absolutely.
Hold on. I got 3 other people on the call, and I'm not trying to run this into no 2 hours. I promise Jarita that I was going to do this for, and I did it. Let me take these 3 calls. I can come back to you guys. Okay, come on, Marcus. Marcus, come on. You've been waiting for a long time. Hey, Marcus, go ahead.
Yeah, basically what I want to say, Mark, is it's a lot of great parents out here doing the best they can I'm a jump on the system.
Go ahead.
The system of white supremacy has forced us in a corner, our backs up against the wall. They tell us to pray. I'm a firm believer in prayer right now. But in our community, we have bad health care. We have bad everything. It's hard for us. They tell us to go get assistance, get help. But then when we go get help ain't enough for us. They have pushed us in a corner. It's not like these young people don't want to work, but they don't want to work for pennies. But they sit here and they've given it, and I know this is off your topic, but they've given these immigrants $51 million and plan on giving them more money and free housing and all of that. And it's black people that's been suffering. So people are mentally frustrated and they're exploding. And what you see is a high crime rate. These kids don't care. The rap music is all about jacking and sexually exploiting black women. And they're playing this music around their 3-year-olds. And parents back in the day, there's certain music we couldn't listen to. It was certain blues songs.
Period.
I couldn't listen to. It was certain rap songs that I couldn't listen to. And rap wasn't as bad back then as it is today. It's a straight disrespect today. Rap music had meaning. It was about politics. It didn't get bad until the late 80s, early 90s. We went to gangster rap. Now we're dealing with drill music.
That's it.
And a lot of it is the system.
Go ahead, Marcus.
A lot of it is the system. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
A lot of it is the system, white supremacy, that has pushed our people into almost like a beast mode. We're killing each other and we don't care because we have no power. We have this, they show this illusion of us having power. Jay-Z them ain't got no power. They rich, but they ain't got no power.
Got no power.
Money and power is two different things. They don't have no military. We don't have a military. We don't have a police force. We got black politicians in office in these black cities, and black people are suffering far more greater than what they was back in the 60s.
Say it again.
We are still suffering with all these black politicians because you said it on your show many times. You have to buy politicians. The village ain't buying the politicians. And the village fell apart when they put drugs, guns, and all of that in our community. That's why they attacked the Black Panthers and destroyed them. They attack any of our leaders. And the truth is, if I came out and spoke out real good about this, they would try to attack me.
Ain't no try, they will. Okay, Marcus. Thank you. You can hold on, but I got Dr. Sanders next, and I got one after her. I want to get to see the thing. What I'm doing now, people. I'm trying not to let people hold on too long. I want to hear everything you guys got to say, but I want to respect the callers because I know a lot of us is at work right now, and we probably not really supposed to be on the telephone right now, but we on there now listening. Okay, come on, Dr. Sanders. You're next. 4703.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. The lady that was speaking earlier. Yeah, I'm 56 years old. Old school, whooped by the high. I grew up in the South. And I know the difference, but the Bible is the main key source for the answer for all problems. No matter what it is. When Madeline O'Hare decided to want to combat Christianity and wanted to be able to get it out of prayer to schools, and she was successful in doing it. Now you're trying to get the bill to come back to put prayer in school. It's the fact of how were you brought up. That's the thing about that. I couldn't go outside and smoke and drink and cuss. You couldn't be in the same room with adults talking because there was conversations that were not privy to children. I'm just adding what she was saying. It is true.
Dr. Sanders.
I see
Dr.
these
Sanders.
now.
Dr. Sanders, hold on. Everybody needs y'all put your phone on mute because I'm hearing too much activity and it's very annoying to me. Put your phone on mute until I call on you. Thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Sanders. Go ahead.
In the school system, before I took my little hiatus this year, I saw too many kids coming to school talking like they're grown folks and cussing and go back and lie on a lot of the workers that was in the school. And I'm looking like, so you don't have no shame in your game? No, they parents don't. Then when something go down, their parents want to come and want to beat up the adult. There's a backward system here. Reason why you got a lot of criminal activity going on, it's not all based upon the foolishness of the children. It's what they have learned. and what they feel that they have arrived to understanding. They don't have that. Yes, the days of whooping your behind with a belt. The Bible says the rod of correction will drive the foolishness out of a child. That means if you foolish, you gotta be disciplined. You know, when you talk about the military, like she said, when you in the military, you're not gonna talk back to none of those superiors because your butt gonna be dealt with. So the thing of it is that you gotta go back to the basics. And if the parents, and Martin, you've had this on your show millions of times. If you don't understand how to help your child, you don't know. There are people that will help you. That will help you to understand. We don't want help from each other.
We don't trust each other.
I'm one of the exceptions. Because I'm gonna say again, I cried live, tears, real tears, before any of these things happened to my son. And I literally called for 50 black men, and out of 50, only one showed up. So now I'm gonna say this again. I chastised my child, and the school called DCFS on me. You understand? So we can. I was raised the same way. You wasn't in a room with adults. I got my behind whooped, all that. But the era that we're living in today ain't that same era. It's just the reality of it.
Well, I know one thing about this. I whooped my son in front of the teacher, and they ain't never called her no me.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've done it too.
It's all it's all the design. Everything is a design, y'all. And what I would say is when you get to the point where you get
Rhea, I didn't want you to go because I got two more callers. Just hold on. Hold on, Dr. Sanders. Let me take this 2742. I'll 2742. 2742 call.
Okay.
How you doing?
So I listen to how you doing, Martin?
Oh, this is my friend. She don't love me no more, y'all. She let me down.
Oh, it ain't like that.
Yes, it is. You must
I'm gonna go this way.
Go ahead. Let me hear it. Go ahead.
I listen to everybody talk. Our problem with our community is the mentality. It's that N-word and B-word mentality, right? So I listen to a lot of the women speak about their kids. It's not the point of that you did what you could for your kid. It's the point when your child commits a crime and you go to that court and you crying and all that, what you should do, I'm not going to that court because I know the crime you committed that you actually did it. When you get out of jail, you're not coming here to live. But what they do is they let him come back and he comes back into the community and he keeps doing it because he don't believe in fat means greasy.
No, we talking about.
I understand.
We talking about teenagers. We talking about teen. We ain't talking about adults.
Right.
We ain't talking about 18.
Okay, so the thing is this.
Right. I was just asking. So where do they go?
Hold on. When my brother was younger and he did something, I'm gonna put his ass out. You know why? Because it's like this. If you could do grown things, then you think you're grown. Because guess what? That means they're gonna challenge you, and that's the problem. Your kid is challenging you because the thing is he don't respect you. When you respect your parents, you don't do grown things in their house. And then when they say something about it, you get smart. No, that's what grown people do. So you need to be in the street with grown people and let me know how that worked out for you.
I like to say.
Now, let's speak on something else, too. Now, the guy was speaking about money and certain things. Money is important, but money does not equate to self-respect. It was a time when black people didn't have much of anything, but we respected one another. The problem is this. A lot of these kids see how their mother's mentality is. Because if it ain't no fathers, the mother's mentality is just horrible. So if the kid watching the mom sit there and act rash and disrespectful and then talk about men like they're the lowest thing on the totem pole, guess what? He don't feel like a man. And that's he's going to carry himself like a woman. And that's the problem. These boys are so emotional like a woman because they're raised by nothing but women. That's why they get that emotion from their mother. Because they sit and they listen to their mom down men all day and sit there and be in her womanist ways, and he's sitting around her. There's no man around, and guess what? He acts like a woman himself. And that's what a lot of these boys act like women. So money does not equate to self-respect. It never has. When your child commits a crime, you don't go to that court and sit there and boo-hoo for them. You let them stand and that's what they did. You make the man, when he tried to be a man doing what he did, you're going to be a man today. I'm not coming to no trial. guess what? You're going to take that time, and when you get out, maybe you corrected yourself.
Martin, I'm just listening and me being through this situation.
To the house.
Okay, let her finish talking. I'll let you come in.
So, I apologize.
Let me finish talking.
Go ahead.
When your child does something and you sit there and you go to court and you boo-hooing and crying, you know this child committed this crime. And then you let him come back to your house. Guess what? He worse than he was before because he sees no punishment for what he did. He see mom's going to sit there and coddle him. And that's the problem with a lot of y'all women. Y'all coddle y'all sons too much. He's not a girl. He's a boy. And then you sit there and you down talk men all day to tell you about yourself. So his whole mindset is he's not even a man. He don't even view men as men. He don't even view his daddy as a man. Because at the end of the day, even though his father wasn't there, he's still a man. Because it took a man to create him with you. But y'all don't want to talk about those issues. Black women talk about men like they're the lowest term on the post. Even if the father not there, you don't sit there and talk about that man like he's nothing because you laid with him. You got to stop calling your son. Stop it. When he get in trouble, you don't sit there and go to court with him and cry for him. No, you make him be a man like he was when he committed that crime because he didn't hurt somebody else's family too. But y'all will sit there, my babies, when he get out of jail, and y'all will sit there, free my son. And that's so he comes back in society and he does the same thing. Did he disrespect you too? Because I'm sure he come up against you. And I'm not speaking to you just particular, I'm speaking in general. Because a lot
because mine don't come up against me. They know what it is with me.
The thing is, he's coming up against society because of you. And he's a kid.
No, he ain't. No, let's correct that. Let's correct that because you don't really know me. See, this is a problem. This is a problem, Martin. People don't understand that every situation is different. Every child is different. She knows nothing about me.
Hold it.
Sweetheart, you talk too much, and that's the problem. You need to let people talk, and you need to listen. I don't know about you, but the Department of Corrections treat your son not as a different person, but as the same. The laws stand the same for him. And that's the problem. I could tell. That's why your son is like he is, because you don't like
you him. Can't see Martin. Now, Martin, what I'm going to do is, because you know me.
I'm going to let you respond.
Neutral corner.
Yeah, I'm going to,
I'm going to let you respond. I'm going to let you respond.
I'm saying, sister, they're looking at you as a whole. They're looking at you as a whole. A whole community. Martin.
Yeah.
Martin, all neutral corners.
Okay.
I don't want these two women to hate each other.
No.
I'm not of that.
I know both of these young ladies. I know both of these young ladies. She did say she's gonna give a different, but she giving her opinion. It's all opinion.
Right.
They don't know each other.
Yeah. Right.
They don't know
each other. Right. All I'm saying is this: when your
and that's all I'm saying. Don't speak to me personally. That's all I'm saying.
Ma'am, the thing is this: they look at your son as a black boy who has no mom, has no dad in the house. That's how the Department of Corrections look at your son. A typical stereotype. I'm telling you what they look at. That's all I'm saying.
Baby, you talking to the mirror, baby. I have a 30-year-old son that has graduated from college. Is perfect. I have a 25-year-old son that is perfect. Now, when I say perfect, I'm not saying literally perfect. I'm gonna say again, I'm not saying literally perfect, but what I'm saying, they are good, prosperous men in society. Okay? I'm going to say this again. The first problem that my son has is mental health. So while you talking, let's deal with that first. My son was born with a brain. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Okay.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? She's not even willing to hear. She's not even willing to hear my situation.
I was talking.
Okay.
I'm giving you an opinion. That don't make it fact. It's just opinion.
Okay, listen. All right.
Your feelings in there.
Okay, hold it, sister. All right. Hold it, y'all. Hold it. I'm gonna go to the next call so I can calm things down. Okay. All right. Next caller, 0697. Come on, caller. 0697. Apologize.
How are you, Martin? Can you hear me, Martin?
Loud and clear. I'm blessed. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just really want to say one thing. It's very important. It's not to place blame. It's only for us to listen. One of the solutions to the problems, these black men must stand up.
Great.
Thank you.
That's a point blank and period.
Period.
In the ways that if they're not in the home, They need to be mentors if they don't have children. Because what I see a lot of, they get up out the hood, they make it, they drive their cars, they do their thing, they take their trip. You got to reach back to the hood, dude.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get out the hood? You have to get out of your ego. You have to stop being selfish. You have to take pride. You have to stop blaming the Black woman. You have to stop making the excuse of she should have chose better. Well, who chose you? Your mama and your grandmother chose you and prayed for you and made a way for you. You can't just talk about these young brothers like there's someone else so disconnected from you because they coming back and they jacking you. They stealing from you and killing you and killing us. The Black man needs to stand up. We got so many issues going on in society, and they are turning a blind eye, and it's not cool. Men that are 30, 40, 50, why can't you donate an hour of your time for some Black male mentorship? I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. I am not placing blame, but that is one of the issues that the Black man does not want us to rise up on. You Black men better stand in your kingdom and get us together. What are you waiting for? What are you afraid of? Do it.
I agree with you.
I agree.
Sister, I'm a man.
Now that's what I need to say.
And I agree with you, sister. Thank you so much. I agree with you.
Thank you.
I agree with you so much. I'm not even going to disagree with you. I ain't going to, but I ain't saying none of that. I agree with you 100%. Okay, Rita, go ahead real quick, and I'm going to let 900. I'm going to start from the top, and we're going to get out of here. Go ahead. Okay, 3473.
So,
Okay, come on.
You want me or you want somebody else, Mark?
You. Then I'm going all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, I have to catch myself because one thing I don't want to do is argue with another Black woman. And you're right, we all have our opinions, but the reality is the reality. I've never went to court and boo-hooed. I cried when I heard the charges out of hurt because my son even did this. Martin, you know me. If it was left up to me, he would have been underneath the jail for what he has done. I do not take up for none of them. If they're wrong, they're wrong. I have never came on no show, no live, and ever said nothing but the truth about mine. I have never sugarcoated it. I have none of that because if I do that, then I'm not living in my reality. And how can I get proper help if I'm not living in my reality? So again, I'm going to say this. The first problem that I know that my son has is mental health. And I have dealt with that. My son has had an IEP in place his whole life. I have taken him to counseling. I have done numerous of things for my son. Okay? I believe environment plays a big role. I live off the 9. I'm not able just yet to sell my home and move off into the sunset. So environment has a lot to do with it. True. Again, my son didn't really turn until my older 2 kids went off to college and there was no male. I am an only child. I don't have a brother to step in. I don't have my father and his only brother are deceased. My father has been deceased since I was 16. So understand, when people be talking, we can rattle things off our tongues and it sounds good, but every child is different. Every situation is different. And we have to deal with each individual situation in that capacity. So, I listen to everybody. And my thing is, what are the solutions? We can point fingers all day, but I'm with the last caller. How do you expect a woman to stand up to these men or these young boys And men are not even standing up to these young boys. So, I'm going to go back to what I said when this show first started. Adults need to get with adults, period.
Okay. All right.
We need to put something else in place.
Okay. Hold it right there. Let me go to 900, and we're going to close this thing out. We got about 3 more people on there. Come on, 900. Y'all ain't going to have me on here all day. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to start singing. Everybody getting, people are trying to bring some sin. I had to start bringing the gospel in.
All right.
Okay. So, the thing is, we just need to go back to the old ways, but it starts with self-accountability. And we just need to go back to when people got married, they had stable families. That's really what it is, because until these mothers and fathers start telling their kids to stop having these babies out of wedlock, things are not going to change. They're only going to get worse. You can't bring a child into you're perpetuating generational curses. People think that sin is isolated. Sin is never isolated. What you and your boyfriend did that produced a child, you think that's just between y'all two, that your child can grow up and not be affected. That's not the case. It affects them. It may not affect them now. It may affect them 20 years from now when they are having trouble in their own relationships because they never saw what a stable family looks like. So we need to stop being selfish, and we need to do the right thing and get married and have healthy relationships like we used to have, back during the civil rights movement and things like that. So that's what the answer is. But until women keep saying, well, it's my body, and glorifying men too, glorifying being a whore and being a whoremonger, this is going to continue. So.
Okay. Thank you, preacher, evangelist. Thank you. Love you. 6112. Come on, Reb. I got the preacher. Come on, 6112. Come on. So we can wind this thing up.
Yeah. Let me wrap up. This has been a touching and a very it's a complicated conversation.
Yes, it is.
But what I want to end by saying is that I hear the mothers saying, and they've been saying it for years, fathers stand up. They were saying don't leave when the fathers left the house. They were saying it for years now. So what has to happen, what we got to understand is, like, I'm one of the fathers that stand up, and both of my kids, like, I got my son right now. Right now he would be on summer break at 8 years old, but he's learning words. My son came to me and told me about a bully that he had in school this year. He never had a bully before, but now I got to deal with my son this summer on how we deal with a bully. Like I say, it goes back to, these are things from, Mark, 3 years old is what we were talking about when we start teaching and instilling things inside a child. Mm-hmm. Like, if you get a glass display and you see an empty glass display, nobody's going to look at that glass display to shop for anything because there's nothing in it. So inside of these young men, inside of these young women, these kids today, if we have never used time over these years to put anything, instill anything, don't act like we instilling stuff in these kids that we ain't sitting down spending time with our kids. Just because you sending your kid to school, to a CPS school with 500 other kids, don't mean that you instilling anything, because they might not be getting an education. Just because, you teaching them how to get a job and telling them what it means to work, don't mean that you're instilling anything in them, because they might be lazy. So the issue is from 3 years old all the way up. If you still got that chance, then it's still now today inside the children. If they ain't your children, be an example, and it's still now today inside these kids. And stop blaming them when they get to the point where they get a certain age and they make their own decisions. Because a lot of decisions that they made, they was taught to make them. They ain't just growing up and learning how to go out there and steal. They ain't just growing up and learning how to say a dad ain't shit. They ain't just going up and treating females like they ain't nothing and sitting up
Watch
there and
it,
just
preacher.
They ain't just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff that has been happening, that they've been learning for years and years, and now we're just in a new day. Now we're in a new age. Now we have fully grown into what we see today. So let's forget about the old school when you had to be inside the house when the lights came on. No, now you got to make a plan on what happens when the kids ain't in the house when the lights come on. We studied back in the days. They ain't no back in the days no more. So get in the schools. Fathers, you're right. Stand up. Get in the schools. Leaders, if you're real leaders in the community, or if you ain't no leaders, sit down. Sit down. Because you ain't speaking and you ain't leading nothing. You just sitting up there and you looking for a show, you looking for a spotlight. That's it. I'm inside of the kids' lives every day. I'm inside of schools. I'm inside of communities. So at the same time, you got people out here for real that do more action than they do talking. And that know the issue of these kids. Start in the little kids. That's the next generation. You ain't gonna be, I'm telling you, some more kids gonna die this past week. This next week, some more young people gonna die.
Okay,
And
preacher.
it's unfortunately that I got to say it like that.
Right.
But I realize that.
Thank you, preacher. I got to go to the next caller. We got to wind this up. Okay, 3699. Come on, caller. 3699.
Martin, I'm going to go right back to what I said the first time. A lot of what's happening is because parents are not establishing authority and boundaries.
Yep.
Okay? Simple stuff like no child, if I was a mother, no child of mine is going to say, I'm going over my friend's house. Okay, I'm slamming doors and going, no, that's my door, and I let you use it. Okay, and talking back, and you got to check everything: the attitude, the tone, the body language, the facial expression. Okay, you don't have friends if I don't know who their mother is or who their guardian is. I need to see how they live. I bet you it's 10 parents right now, if you ask them, how many classes does your child have and what is their teacher's name? What classroom is it? You might not be able to recite it, but I bet you're supposed to be able to go on that phone. You're supposed to have Miss Johnson's phone number, her email, her what class she's in, and what is her study. She's supposed to have your phone number, your email, okay? These are things that you got to get in your kids' business. You need to know everything. My mother used to tell me, you don't have a friend if I don't know their name and where they live. You ain't got no friends at all. How about you going over your friend's house? We can make all the excuses in the world, but still, it starts at home. Get in your kids' business. Check everything. I don't like that outfit. Take it off. You're going to dress the way I want you to because I'm buying it. That's everything right. From the hairstyle to the color of the nail polish. I couldn't wear vibrant colors when I was a young girl because my grandmother said it was grown. It was too grown. We wasn't even allowed to wear ankle bracelets because ankle bracelets symbolize something else on a young girl. I'm just telling you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What they symbolize?
So you got to check everything. You got to check everything and stop trying to be your kid's friend. We're not friends. I'm your parent.
Thank you.
What ankle bracelet symbolize?
Period. Mm-hmm. Ankle bracelets symbolize what you would call in 900 is Jezebel, or what my grandmother would call it. Even something as simple as blonde hair in those women's days, that symbolized prostitute.
Wait.
Okay.
Explain that.
900. We're not going to go there.
Not to get off the topic. Not to get off the topic. But you know, you got to get back. You got to get back to establishing boundaries and authority. Period. You're not installing a healthy fear in your kids. They talk back. They give slick facial expressions. Now they talking back to grown people, and you're looking at your child through the eyes of a loving mother or father. And that can't be all the time. It just can't. There's no consequences. You know, I'm just keeping it real. You got to run your house like it is the military. In the very beginning, you don't get to do what you want to do. You get to do what I allow you to do. And you'll earn that right. Get up and go to bed when I say so. Mm-hmm. It wasn't no getting up, cooking nothing to eat at 10 o'clock in my grandmother's house. You didn't eat. You got, when food was ready, you ain't eating. Cut that light out. It's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, let me say this.
You allow your kids to get up and walk around with pajamas on all day? No. When you get up, get yourself together and put on some clothes.
Lay in the bed all day?
Don't come out that room.
Yeah, laying around all day. Wasn't no laying around all day in my grandmother's house. You too young to be tired. Get up. Now I'm done, Martin.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna let this is the last caller. Come on, Marcus, you the last one. Wrap it up, then I'll make my comments. Go ahead.
I heard a lot about single parents, single mothers. There are single parents, fathers out here too. But I will say this: Black women have raised white boys to be president, brigadier general. The same Black woman can raise her son to do the same thing. To everybody saying these women, blaming these women for being single, I will say this: what about the fathers who had the mindset of a boy, who didn't want to take on their responsibility and left that woman, and then made another woman, got another woman pregnant, left her to be a single mother? What about them? Where's their accountability? They helped create this problem. You want the boys to be men. You want the boys to be with the fathers. The fathers need to return home, leave the strip clubs, leave the street strip clubs, and return home to their family and take on their responsibility and raise their boys to be men. In the meantime, boys have to gravitate to other men who live on that block that's in that village. Fortunately for me, he did come around. But at the same time, I watched how other men dressed on the block that I grew up on. And I didn't gravitate to drug dealers and gang bangers and all of that. I was gravitating to the men who had jobs, whether they worked janitorial jobs or worked for the city. I always wanted to hang with the big people, as I put it. And so I learned how to dress by those men when my father wasn't around to teach me how to dress. But I knew what my father was. My mother never told me my father was no good. She told me the history about my father as far as she knew. He was a great person. And when he came around, he showed that he was a great person. When he asked me recently, did I ever hate him? I said, I don't know you to hate you. So, and what happened in the past is in the past. This is the future. I'm glad you're in my life. That's all that I care about at this point in time. I think these Black men need to step up to the plate, quit living a rap video, and be the man that God created them to be, and quit blaming the Black woman for being single, because you helped make her single. These are the same women who worked in white folks' houses and raised their kids, because the white folks was out there handling the money. They raised a lot of these white kids, and these white kids are brigadier generals, presidents, vice presidents, and presidents of Fortune 500 companies running this country, running the money. If that Black woman can do that, that Black woman can do that for her son. So her son can grow up to be a man. It's all on how you all see what a man is. And right now, what's being portrayed on our TV and in our music is not a man. That is a boy who is in a man's body who never grew up. There's a mental behavior. Men, step up to the plate. Don't just step up coming up to Father's Day or Juneteenth. Step up 365 days. You know you made that baby. Go back and raise that baby.
Preach, preacher.
That's all I got to say.
All right, people. I definitely got to get out of here. I appreciate you. Thank you, Rita, for calling me. We can resume this tonight. You know, I'm probably 8 or 9. Okay. We can resume this tonight. So if you come up with any other ideas or thoughts, you're welcome to call in. I want to thank everybody that participated in this. We've been on here 1 hour and 13 minutes, and I really want to be on at least 20 minutes, but I should have known it wasn't going to happen. But I thank everybody for their comments. Brother, if I agree with it or not agree with it, thank you so much. And we do have disagreements.
Mark, I just want to say thank you to you. I just want to say thank you to you for allowing this platform to be here for this. We need it. We need it. And I am extremely grateful for your work. I really am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say, I don't miss my thought, but I will resume tonight. We'll be on the same subject tonight unless something changes. But majority, we will be on this subject tonight. So if you didn't get a chance to call in, you can call in later tonight. I'll be on. If you're not getting my notifications from Facebook, you can get them from YouTube. So when you see that YouTube pop up, just go to Facebook or vice versa, whatever you want to do. That's what it is. So this is what I'm getting from all this whole conversation. I think as parents and as adults, male and female, we need to go back to the old-fashioned way. That's what we need to do. And it worked for us, and I think it will work for the children of 2000s. So I'm saying we need to start it back because we got to do something, people, because if we just sit on our hands and things going to just keep going crazy, we have to do something. We have to establish boundaries when they're young. We can't wait till they stand at 6'4" and 225 pounds, 13 years old. Now we want to be a parent. We can't do that. We can't do it. So we have to start when they're small. We have to start when they're small. And like the sister said, some of our children suffer from mental illness, which is true. Some of our children suffer because they're molested and they never got the proper help. Some of our children are born on drugs. Some of our children, they inherited some things from the parents. So we're dealing with a lot of trauma, and we oppress people. So we got a lot going on, people.
Can I say something, Mark?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm you know me personally, and I'm gonna say this.
Yes.
See, I can listen to all the issues, but I'm gonna get real personal right now, and I'm gonna step outside of everything that I believe in and get personal about my own family. Okay, my father has been married to his wife over 40 years. My stepmother, they have my father always worked. He was the head of the household. My stepmother stayed at home. You know my father, Martin.
Yeah,
you
I know
met
your
him.
father. Yeah.
Okay, believed, pastor, all of that. Okay, and they live by the word and go to church. All these things. My brothers and my sisters, they never seen a hungry night. Grew up in a home, never had to do any of the things that they ended up doing. So there are people out here that live a so-called picture-perfect life, and they kids still turn to them streets because my siblings did it. Two of them, I'm telling you, all my father's union seeds have been to the penitentiary. All 4 of them. Never had to hit the concrete. Never had to do any of the things that they did, but they chose it. And you know why? And I'm going to get personal. That's why I can speak on it. How is your kid coming in the house with a $3,000 bird that know how to talk at 13, 14, 12 years old? Where did you get it? How is your kid coming in the house with expensive games and doing all these things? Where is this money coming from? Where are you? See that the parents be. I'm telling you, they turn the other cheek and they act like they don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning of your mess right there. Mm-hmm. Allowing your children to acquire things that you didn't buy or that you can't afford. You allow your children to entertain and keep the company of people that their parents don't share the same value as you or as you should. And that's the beginning of it. Let's get down to it. My mother was a single mother on a fixed income. My father was never there. But guess what? She installed some things. My grandmother, my grandfather, my uncles, my aunt. I chose my way. With, but with a little bit of, here and there circumstances, product, environment, or whatever. But I turned out okay. I ain't been in nobody's penitentiary. I don't have no felonies. I ain't never got house, no drugs. Okay, I turned out really good. I beat the odds. Let's just say that. My mother was 14 when she had me. Okay, but I still remember what I was taught. Okay, so let's not sit up and it's time to stop the blame game and let's put it where it's at.
Okay.
Period. Stop being so involved in your own life and get on your business with your kids. Get your kids.
Your kids.
Period. That's it.
All right, we're gonna leave it right.
That's right. Get your kids.
We're gonna leave it. We gotta say something for the evening time. Okay, thank y'all so much. I'm
All
gonna
right,
leave it
I'll
right.
be back, Martin.
Okay, I'm gonna leave
And
it right.
I want to know what the ankle bracelets mean too.
No, well, okay, look it up. All right, I'll tell you when you get to the next live. All right, let me just say this, people. that's going to end the program today. I'm not going to go on and go on and go on and go on. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Rita, for asking me to do this. Normally, y'all know I go live later on in the evening time when I do the talk show. So, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you share the video, please. Tag it to someone. If you believe that someone needs to know this or hear this or listen to this, share it with them. Send it to them. Text message to them. Do whatever you have to do. And I'm quite sure is something in this live that can help any parent. And I'm not just talking about the mama, the father as well too, because you got a lot of single fathers out there that doing their thing, and you got a lot of fathers that need to step their game up, including myself. I need to do more. I can do more. I believe I'm a great father like Jarita. Ain't nobody perfect, but I believe I can do even more. And I'm going to do that. I told myself I'm going to be a better father, more better father than my father was to me. And that's my goal in life. Thank y'all so much. This is Live, Uncut, Unedited. You already know what it is. What is it? Live, Uncut, Unedited. This is where we tell the truth. And what? And shame the devil. I don't know about you, 900, but I love being black. I love being black.